parents named me Wendy Jo Harmston. I was raised in what's known as Old Irving Park on the northwest side. My parents were raised and lived for many years before I was born in Logan Square. When I was growing up, I was fortunate enough to have parents that they were musically inclined. I didn't realize families didn't sing 4-part harmony at home. That's what we did. We all had a part.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. My dad was in 2 quartets. They rehearsed at the house. To me, 4-part harmony is like, I think art was more isolated back then.
What do you mean by isolated?
It wasn't just part of the general culture. It was there, but in pockets. And if you had the ability to afford it, or if you did have a family that maybe exposed you to some, art was always a low priority in the schools. You know, I used to be an art teacher, kept cutting. And not just in Chicago, this has been an issue a lot. Music, everything. There's a difference now. Kids have access to technology that they can get exposed to arts even if their parents aren't interested in the arts or culture in any way. When I was in high school, arts were being cut big time, and I took every art class I could. I wanted to be a math teacher and an art teacher. Crazy. And my parents, like I said, were musically inclined. They were involved in different choruses. We had 2 pianos. You know, I just thought everyone did that. But they also were involved about their community work. You know, they now would have been called organizers or, you know, activists, but that terminology wasn't used a lot back then. So I was shown just like model behavior, how you invest in your community, you be a good citizen, and you try to address the issues. And in high school, my senior year, I went down to Springfield to fight for the arts in the public schools. My parents says, yeah, go. I had an opportunity. I started getting to know elected officials. My church was in Logan Square, and we weren't getting services, and a lot of other churches weren't, so there was all different denominations. We created our own little social justice group, hired an organizer, you know, and we organized around trying to get things done in the Logan Square, that part of the area. I loved that. I thought that was great. And just because, and then in my neighborhood in Old Irving Park, now this is fast forwarding up to the very early 80s, a group of neighbors got together and we created the Old Irving Park Association. Oh yeah, I was president. I designed the logo. I did my artwork there too, for free. You know, you contribute, you do your talents.
Yeah.
Designed our brochure. You know, this is before computers, early 80s. You know, there wasn't desktop publishing and all that. So I did all that, and I created the newsletter, which still stands today, the format, even though it's done on a computer now. But we did a lot of issues. Some of the issues in the beginning, in '85, was finding out the Kennedy Expressway was going to be reconstructed, and no one had been told. Our officials didn't know. IDOT just announced it in the newspaper, a little 1-inch. So we created a large coalition. We actually stopped IDOT and got them to redo their whole plans. And I sat with them and one other elected official between big meetings of hundreds of people. And then the Kennedy is what you see. The cut through at Keeler and Irving, I thought of that. I'm not an engineer, and it's helped traffic. There was other things like that. From my perspective, the landscape for artists today, I think it can be a landmine because the politics are so involved, no matter what side of the aisle or other splinter group you might be a part of. And for me, I find it that I have to be careful not to get sucked into their agendas and not be used by someone else's agenda. So for me as an artist and working for the arts, I just try to fight it. I try to be who I am. I always say I'm here for the long haul. So I've had elected officials in the past try to bribe me. I've had big businesses try to bribe me to stop the organizing I was doing. You know, my needs are simple, so I'm not a hero. It doesn't interest me, go, you know. Art, it's what I did when I was doing it, creating the flyers, doing the press releases, doing the posters, designing whatever. So I was using my art that way to move forward my social justice work and the organizing work. That's how we did it. And you know, you just did it.